Well, you teach computer music, you teach also improvisation, and you teach also music theory. Well, it's a stupid question, but what is computer music?
Well, to be honest, all the music that we listen to now is digital. You know, if you download even bluegrass music or folk music, this has been recorded and edited and produced in a digital studio. Yeah. So the computer is kind of at the heart of all music production in the current age.
Yeah. Except the music we hear maybe outside.
Yeah.
Of that.
That's right.
Creation.
That's right. Okay. So I mean, but you know, all of us as musicians are completely informed by music that comes out of this worlds of digital production.
Yeah.
So I do teach my students. Production techniques that are common to commercial production techniques. So digital recording and editing and signal processing and MIDI arranging and all this stuff. But I also teach classes in algorithmic composition, in generative systems, in interactivity. So I'm much more interested in seeing the computer as a kind of flexible environment in which we can creatively stipulate systems. Because and it's coming back to this political disposition and experimental disposition, because if we can think in terms of systems and processes, then that reflects on our other engagements outside of music. That we think about systems as something we can change, something we can design, that we can desire new systems. Mm-hmm. So if as musicians I can get my students to think creatively about systems, I want them to compose systems rather than just compose more instances of the music that they already know and love.
Okay, and what do you get from them? Are you satisfied?
Sometimes I'm wonderfully surprised, and my students are teaching me things all the time. Sometimes part of my struggle as a teacher is to lead students away from their preferences and predispositions. Mm-hmm. And this isn't always easy. I know, like, I have habits of my own. There's music that I love already, and the music that I love is sometimes the strongest impediment for me to go to a new place. So I'm sympathetic with that problem.
Okay.
I share that with my students.
Okay.
We both.
That's great. That's actually very great. Yes. Okay. But can you tell me about your idea of the magic of improvisation? What's so beautiful about that?
Yeah. So in improvisation, I mean, this is, it's like our conversation. It's like having a conversation. It's like discovering a person. And the best conversations are because I'm a good listener, and you're a good listener, and because we genuinely care about each other, and we care about the engagement that we have. Mm-hmm. It also means that we need to delve into the differences between each other. If we simply agree with each other, the conversation is over, right? If you say, "Oh, you like improvisation, I like improvisation too," great.
Choose.
Then we're done. So in fact, to the extent that that we disagree, that we're different, that we have different interests, that's what feeds the conversation. And this is true in improvisation as well. And this is really what's wonderful about improvisation, is that we counter each other. Sometimes I'm accompanying, sometimes I'm leading, sometimes I'm contradicting, sometimes you're interrupting, sometimes I say, no, it has to stop now, now let's go. This dance, that's the magic.
Okay, great. And somehow you also even live it, right? At least here in Berlin. You are an improviser of life.
Well,
somehow. And you enjoy it.
I mean, we certainly we didn't pre-compose what we were going to say for this interview. So we had to improvise. I hope it was enjoyable.
Of course, yeah. Well, but I think many people think that improvisation is based on freedom, right? That you're totally free to do whatever you want and whatever you want to play. There is a place where you can do that and where you can offer that. But is that true?
Yeah, I think this is a kind of misconception, because the word freedom is often misused as a kind of propaganda for improvisation, a kind of advertising slogan. And I really think it takes away from the complexity of improvisation. In our conversation, of course, we're free to say a lot of things, but in fact, we made this interview more interesting by saying we're going to talk about certain things. We're not going to talk about our favorite beer or where we went on vacation.
Yeah.
So these restrictions are necessary if we want to create a more interesting situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and improvisation, it's the same. We stipulate certain restrictions so that we can have within those boundaries more interesting conversation.